Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Jallo, how long have you been Permanent Secretary Agriculture?
I've been Permanent Secretary about 4 months now, from December.
From December?
To date, yes. December 2017.
2017?
Yes, ma'am.
Were you in the public service before that?
Yes, ma'am. I've been in the public service since 1994.
1994?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you work in the Ministry of Agriculture?
I started working at the ministry itself in 2014.
2014?
14, yes, ma'am.
What month in 2014?
Excuse me, sorry?
What month?
February 2014.
Which other ministry did you work?
No, I mean, I was with the Department of Agricultural Services before I moved to the ministry proper.
Okay, could you tell us from 1994 when you joined the civil service, you said in 1994?
94, yes.
Could you tell us your career?
Department of Agricultural Services with the Soil and Water Management Unit.
In the Soil Management Unit?
Soil and Water Management Unit.
1994?
Yes, 1994.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
From there, I was there until 2009 when I became the Deputy Director and the Head of the Soil and Water Management Services. And from there, I became Project Coordinator for PWAMP, Acting Project Coordinator for PWAMP.
Project Coordinator of?
PWAMP. That's a Participatory Integrated Watershed Management Project. And
from when?
2009, 2011. And then became
2011?
Became Deputy Permanent Secretary. At some point, I was out of office.
You became Deputy Permanent Secretary from 2011?
2014.
Sorry, you said?
Yes, I said at that point I was out of work for some period.
From 2011?
Yes, ma'am.
Until 2014?
Until 2014.
When you were at the department, did you say Department of Agriculture?
Department of Agriculture, yes.
Between 2009 and 2011, did you deal with the Japanese rice?
No, ma'am.
Food aid? You did not?
No, I didn't.
Did you work with which Permanent Secretary?
Excuse me, sorry?
You worked with which Permanent Secretary during that period?
I was not, the Permanent Secretary was not my direct report, so basically I was reporting to the Director of Agricultural Services.
So it was when you came back in 2014 that you dealt with this file? You
yes,
dealt with the Japanese food aid?
Yes, I dealt.
What role did you play?
Mostly writing letters for duty waivers, for police escort, and to inform the Office of the President about the reconciliation. About reconciliation. I mean, just to transmit letters. I mean, and to write letters for request for those things.
What do you mean by transmit letter? Deputy Permanent Secretary is a very senior position. What letters were you transmitting?
For example, the reconciliation. When the reconciliation reports came in, I had to write to the Office of the President to inform them about the reconciliation.
Reconciliation came from where?
Basically the Agribusiness Services Unit under the Department of Agriculture.
What was the role of the Agribusiness Services Unit in relation to the Japanese aid?
They are the focal point for the Japanese rice aid. Basically, they do the reconciliation together with the storekeepers. They do the reconciliation. They are the personnel who are on the ground to receive and to hand over the rice to the...
Can I have MS 195? I'm going to show you some exhibits.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that there? 190. 193. $95. $195. This is not $195. Okay, I'm going to show you these documents. MS 195A. And kindly confirm whether you are the Hassan Jallo who signed these documents. These are letters dated 18 March 2014, 27 May 2014, and 23rd November 2014. The first one, which is 18 March 2014, is written to Managing Director KGI International and informing them of the arrival of 168,303 bags of rice. The second one, dated 27 May, is written to the Honorable Minister of Presidential Affairs and Secretary General, and again confirming the receipt of 168,303 bags of rice. And the last one is announcing the arrival of 134 metric tons of rice from Japan, dated 23rd November 2015.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the Hassan Jallo?
Yes, I am the one.
So you were responsible for, on the part of the ministry, for arranging for the transmission of the rice or the delivery of the rice to KGI?
I was not responsible. As you can see, it's written for permanent secretary. So it's the responsibility of the permanent secretary, and the permanent secretary can assign anybody to write this, any of his staff or her staff to write this.
I understand that ultimate responsibility lay with the permanent secretary.
That's right.
But under the supervision of the permanent secretary, you were handling the consignments as they arrived in the Gambia and were delivered to KGI.
The permanent secretary himself was responsible and was overseeing it.
What did you do?
Basically, I wrote some of these letters.
You saw those documents.
Yes, I said I wrote some of these
letters. The shipping
letters.
documents were given to you and you sent them. Is that correct? To KGI, the shipping documents for the vessels?
No, the shipping documents don't go to KGI. The Ministry of Agriculture is responsible for clearing
Who at the Ministry of Agriculture?
Basically, the process is led by the Agribusiness Services Unit, together with the stores keepers. They arrange themselves in teams that are at the port and also at the point of delivery to the KGI. And it is that reconciliation from those staff who are at the port and this thing that we transmit now. That's the report of the reconciliation that I wrote about here. But
when you wrote announcing the arrival of these vessels,
yes, ma'am,
and informing KGI that the vessels have arrived, what exactly was your role? I just need to understand the process as you were involved in it.
The ministry informed the KGI prior to the arrival of this ship, so that the KGI can prepare storage facilities where we can hand over this rice. And the ministry
is not a person. Who you, as permanent secretary, deputy permanent secretary?
As deputy permanent secretary, I wrote these letters informing. Yes.
Yes.
I wrote this letter informing KGI about the arrival, just like this letter pointed out. Yes, that's right, ma'am.
Now, the reason I'm asking you these questions, Mr. Jallo, is that you wrote a very short statement saying that you had no involvement in these transactions and you know nothing about KGI. Why is that?
Did I write that?
I'll show you your statement. Can you show him his statement? You said, what you said here, and I'll quote it, you can read it. I facilitated access to the files, that is the investigators, and made relevant copies of documents. My knowledge of this matter is very limited, as I was not personally involved at the time of these transactions. So as current permanent secretary, I facilitated access to required documents. Can you confirm whether that's your statement? Is that your statement?
Yes. Yes, I said that since I was not personally involved at the time of these transactions.
Yes, what do you mean?
What I mean is what I'm just trying to say here, that yes, maybe I wrote these letters, but I was not the one responsible. I was writing letters on behalf of the permanent secretary.
Okay.
That's right. That's what I. Maybe as a choice of language here would have been too vague. Well, but then what I really meant was that I was not the responsible person for these transactions or for any decisions. I was not the decision maker, basically.
Well, it was certainly not helpful.
Sorry, excuse me?
I'm saying it was certainly not helpful. We had to struggle to find documents which you signed yourself.
No,
can you collect
these documents were...
No, that's fine, that's fine.
These documents were handed over.
Can I have the exhibits?
Yes.
Mrs. You left in 2011, you said, and came back in and didn't come back until...
the dates may not be accurate again, because I'm just talking of...
You left agriculture. You said you left government in 2011.
Sometime around that time, yes, and then returned 2014, yes. I think so. I cannot remember exactly. The dates may not be accurate.
What was when you came back in 2014, February, you said, what was the arrangement in place with KGI? What was the arrangement?
The arrangement we found in place was that I think was that they were the agent, sales agent for the KGI rice. That's that. I believe that was the arrangement in place.
So how was it monitored? The reason why I ask you this is because we have had evidence that there was no one from agriculture following up KGI for the amounts that were owed. Now, you may not have been there during all this period, but was there any process in place, monitoring process, when this rice or these consignments were delivered to KGI? Was there any process put in place by the Ministry of Agriculture whereby the sale of this rice would be monitored and it would be ensured that the monies were paid into central bank?
I am not aware of any arrangements that were made. The only thing I am aware of is that we do open an account anytime a consignment is given to KGI. An account is open for the proceeds of the sales of the said consignment.
Okay.
But I am not aware of any other arrangements. There may have been, but I'm not aware of them.
So in your letter of 27 May 2014, when you wrote to the Office of the President reporting the arrival of the rice and the number of bags, providing the number of bags delivered sound and the number of loose bags and the shortfall, who was providing the information to you?
Just like I said earlier, is the team from Agribusiness Services Unit provides a team that basically at the port to receive the rice from the ship and to deliver to KGI. And after that team from Agribusiness and the supply and the stores officers, together with KGI, provided that report. That's the reconciliation. Whereas it's confirmed that this was received from the ship and this was what was delivered to KGI and received by KGI.
So at what stage was a bank account open at Central Bank?
I don't know exactly, but I know that, for example, as soon as this, I know for one that one of the consignments. In fact, KGI was following the Minister of Agriculture for some time to open the account so that they can put the monies into this account. Basically, it's not very smooth.
So when you receive the bill of lading for the shipping documents, you'll call them the shipping documents, an account is not open at that stage at Central Bank?
For this time, no. Immediately, no.
Now, the records from the Central Bank show that the last payment in that account is in 2014. 2014, November 2014.
Okay.
And in November 2014, we still had vessels arriving. As you have indicated, and in your own letters, in March 2014, a vessel arrived, and it seems in November also other vessels arrived. I cannot find anything that is helpful in terms of what was happening on the part of agriculture in relation to this food aid, which is quite significant.
I understand. I was not, just like I mentioned earlier, I was not responsible for the the rice aid or any of these things. Yes, I wrote those letters at that particular time because the permanent secretary, the then permanent secretary, delegated me or instructed me to write those letters. Subsequently, I was not involved anymore. So basically, yes, my own knowledge of transactions or whatever transpired would be limited by only what confidence the sitting permanent secretary has on me at a certain particular period. And basically, maybe you may realize, or you may have known that, you may have learned that there were several changes. We had permanent secretaries in and out for that year especially, and the next year. And then I was not always involved in certain activities or something. Basically, I can be instructed now, and then tomorrow, by the time the next week also, I will not be anymore privy to the operations.
I understand, Mr. Jallo, but your situation is not peculiar. Now, this commission is trying to investigate a situation, and you are the current permanent secretary.
Yes, ma'am.
I certainly would expect that you would have gone through the files in order to assist the commission, understand what was going on in the ministry, which you are now in charge of. Yes. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So the fact that you are not there really is not that important in terms of finding out from your records what was going on. Is there anything you can help us with, understand how this matter was being handled at the level of the Ministry of Agriculture?
Just like I said, for example, I just said just now that I mentioned that the KGI were following the ministry for the opening of the account. For example, for that KR, I think it's KR12 it's called or something, for that particular consignment of rice. Because the lady came several times saying that she was receiving money and she just wanted an account number to put it into. Because you cannot, for every consignment there's a separate account open. That's what the stipulation of the Japanese partners in this case. So basically, yes, I know that those were issues at the time. And then that's the only control, or that's the only involvement of the ministry that I know at that moment, until during the reconciliation. Okay. Basically, I don't know anything much about this thing.
My question is similar. Is there anybody at the level of the Ministry of Agriculture who can help us in our inquiry? Do you know anybody?
I think, just like I said, the the point of this transaction always is the unit, agribusiness services unit. Maybe the directors of that unit.
Who was the director at the time?
Chernombalo was the director at that time.
Chernombalo.
Yes, Chernombalo was the director at that time.
Thank you.
Really involved. I was called by the president to go to Nigeria, and he gave me a power of attorney, as I said in the statement. He signed it, and I traveled to Nigeria to sign on behalf of, I couldn't remember whether it's on behalf of him or on behalf of the government.
This was in 1996? Can you
Yes,
share?
ma'am.
What month or the date in 1996?
I couldn't remember, but I think the date I saw on the letter may be the right one.
July. What month did you give? What month?
The month I saw on the documents is August.
What letter are you referring to?
A letter from Dominic Mendy and a power of attorney. That one I couldn't remember very well.
What is the date of the letter from Dominic Mendy?
26th August 1996.
What is the heading of that letter you're referring to?
Power of attorney.
Okay. Dominic Mendy was holding which office at the time?
He was the Minister of Trade, Industry and Employment.
Can you read the document, the power of attorney that you have?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read it, please, so that we can...
Yes. By power of attorney given on the 26th of August 1996, I, Dominic Mendy, Minister of Trade, Industry and Employment of the Government of the Gambia, hereby appoint Mahamadou B.S. Juwara, Deputy Chief of Protocol, Office of the Chairman and Head of State, as attorney for the Government of the Gambia, and power and authorize Mahamadou B.S. Juwara to sign the agreement relating to the lifting of oil by a business concern on behalf of the Government of the Gambia, on a contract earlier executed between the Government of the Gambia and the Government of Federal Republic of Nigeria. Dominic Mendy, Minister of Trade and Employment, Republic of the Gambia, signed 26 August 1996.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, this is the power of attorney from Exhibit MS-202, tendered by Mrs. Awasisi Sabali. Okay. How did you come by the power? You just said the President gave you a power of attorney. Is that power of attorney connected to this one you have just read out?
I think so, but I couldn't remember the exact text of that one. But I think it should be the same.
You think it is?
I said I think it should be connected. They should be connected.
What I would like to know is, did you have a power of attorney different from this one from the ex-president? Did you have another power of attorney from the ex-president?
Yeah, I think so.
What was this power? What was that power of attorney for?
If I could remember, is to go and sign agreement with the government of Nigeria about crude oil.
Right. Okay. Continue with your narrative.
Yeah, that one I remember. As I said earlier, he called in his office. He asked me to go to Mrs. Johnson's office. That's his personal assistant. Then Mrs. Johnson gave me a document. I took it. He signed them and put it in an envelope and sealed them. So that's what I took to Nigeria.
Did you go to Nigeria on your own, or were you accompanied?
I think I went with Mr. Samuel Sarr.
Was there anyone else with you?
No, I couldn't remember anybody.
Who is Mr. Samuel Sarr?
Mr. Samuel Sarr is a businessman who, in Senegal, I think.
Did you know him before that time? Before you traveled with him to Nigeria?
Yes, I met him accidentally one Sunday afternoon. I was working with my children at Kairaba Hotel. Then I met two gentlemen. One is Omar Ndau from Gambia. Then we said hello to each other, and he introduced me to this Mr. Samuel Sarr. Then during the conversation, he told me that Samuel Sarr wanted to see the president for 3 months.
Sorry,
but it wasn't possible.
We're losing you a little bit. Can you repeat what you said? He said what? Can you repeat what you said?
He said Mr. Samuel Sarr wanted to see the president for the past 3 months. But it was impossible.
Could you stop for a moment, please? We are having technical problems.
Okay, ma'am.
Can you repeat what you said?
Yes, I said I met Samuel Sarr and with Omar Ndau at Kairaba Beach Hotel one afternoon. It was a Sunday, and Mr. Ndau introduced me to Samuel Sarr. Then from there we greet each other. Then Mr. Ndau told me that this gentleman wanted to see the president or the chairman for the past 3 months, but it was not possible. I said, what happened? He said, he doesn't know. I said, okay. Then the following day, Monday, when I went to the office, I was with the president. I asked him, I said, have you had anybody in the name of Samuel Sarr who wants to see you? He said, yes. He said, yes. I said, then what did you say, sir? He said, well, I don't trust Senegalese. I said, okay. I said, but sometimes when people want to see you, listen to them. You don't know what they have to tell you. And he said, yes, that's true. So at that point, he said, okay, tell him to come tomorrow at 11. Then I called Omar Ndau to inform him that Mr. Sarr had an appointment with the chairman at 11 a.m. Tuesday morning. So that's how I get to know Samuel Sarr.
Okay. How long had you known him before he accompanied you to Nigeria?
I think not more than a month.
Was your mission to Nigeria explained to you by the ex-president or anyone else?
What I had at the time was that Nigeria used to give West African governments crude oil for them to help pay their balance of payments. But that year, Gambia was paid. The distribution was already done. Now, the oil that I was supposed to go, I went to sign for, according to the head of state, it was given to him by the late Sani Abacha to finance his campaign, 1996 election campaign. This is what I was told.
Who told you this?
President.
Was this before or after you had been to Nigeria?
No, before.
What was Samuel Sarr's role explained to you? Why was he accompanying you?
I I know that during his meeting with Samuel Sarr, because he asked me present in that meeting, the first meeting, that very day, Samuel Sarr asked him whether he can travel with me to Paris. Then he said, yes, of course. Then I said, no, sir, at least you have to give me time to prepare. He said, no, you have to go tomorrow. So, okay. I said, all right. This is how I traveled with Samuel Sarr to France. I don't even know why we were going to Paris.
All right. You had said you had received a power of attorney from the president to go to Nigeria with Samuel Sarr.
Yes, ma'am.
So that trip to Nigeria was before or after your trip to Paris?
It was after our trip to Paris.
It was after your trip to Paris?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What did you do? What did you go to do in Paris?
I don't know exactly, but I think he was trying to help the Gambia through the French government. That was my my understanding, because that time Gambia was under sanction.
Okay, so did you have a power of attorney to go to Paris?
No, I didn't.
Okay, tell us what transpired in Paris, where you went with Mr. Samuel Sarr, and what happened.
Really, ma'am, when we went to Paris, most of the time I was in the hotel. Then one day Samuel Sarr came and he said we have to travel to Niamey, Niger.
You have to travel
I said, no, I cannot.
So can you repeat what you said?
Yes, he said we have to go to Niamey, Niger. So
In Chad?
I don't know the reason.
Sorry, which country?
Niger.
Niger. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, carry on.
Then I said, no, I cannot travel to Niger without permission from home.
Without?
Without permission, authorization.
Okay.
So I have to contact the head of state. Then he said, well, if he asks you to go with him, go with him. I said, okay, sir.
He said I asked you to go with him.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Go with him, okay. I understand. So what happened? You had permission to go to Niger, yes? Did you go to Niger?
Yeah, we came back to Dakar, then from Dakar, took Air Africa flight to Niger.
What was the purpose of your trip to Niger?
Mama, I know very little about it. The only thing was when we got to Niger, I was given a code, C-O-D-E, to go to the French embassy.
Could you stop for a moment? We are having difficulty understanding what he's saying. Okay. Could you repeat that? You said when you got to Niger, what happened?
I said we went to, I was given a French embassy.
You were given?
Code, C-O-D, code.
C-O-D-E?
Yes, a code.
Okay. You were given a code for?
To go to the French embassy.
What is the code? I don't quite understand. Could you explain?
Ma'am, it's just like a cinema. It's just like a cinema. The code, a secret code.
A secret code?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What was its purpose? What was the purpose?
I went with that code to the French embassy. Then I was asked to go back to my hotel and wait.
Right, what happened?
Then somebody came to my hotel and to confirm that whether I am Amadou B. Edouara. I said, yes, I am. He said, okay, I'll come back at 3 o'clock. The person came back at 3 o'clock with a suitcase. And when he came with the suitcase, he opened the suitcase. There were safes inside, safe from. Then he said, well, that's it. I've never seen you. You have never seen me. Good luck. That is it.
Okay.
So, later on, I saw Samuel Sir. I said, Samuel, what is this? He said, you don't have to ask questions. Now, what you should think, how do you get this money out of Niamey to Gambia?
Sorry.
I said, all right.
Can you stop for a moment? We'll just need you to repeat that part of your evidence. Can we proceed?
Yes.
Mr. Juara, can you repeat what Mr. Samuel Sar said?
I asked Samuel Sar, what was this for? He said, don't ask questions, just make sure you travel with this money to the Gambia. I said, how would I leave, how would I travel with this amount of money, leaving this country to Gambia without being arrested? Then he said, that's my problem. I said, okay, fine. Okay. So, through other techniques, I managed to travel by going through the VIP lounge.
You managed to travel by?
Through the VIP lounge.
Okay. VIP lounge. By then, the ministers, African ministers of finance were meeting in Niamey. So I seized that opportunity to travel at the same time with them out of Niamey. Okay. Was our Minister of Finance in Niamey?
No, it's the Francophone ministers.
Francophone ministers.
Yes.
The gentleman who met with you at the hotel, what nationality was he?
I don't know, he's a white man.
White as in Caucasian or some other
White
race?
like French.
White, so I didn't hear that.
I said white like a Frenchman.
White Frenchman. You did not travel with Samuel Sarr from Niani?
Coming back, yes, of course.
When you traveled with him and the suitcase?
No, he said he has nothing to do with the suitcase. That's my problem. But we travel on the same flight.
And going where?
Coming back to the Gambia via Dakar.
When the suitcase was handed over to you, was the money in it counted?
I think it may be 60 million, safer.
Can you repeat the figure?
I said it may be 60 million CFA.
60?
Yes, ma'am.
60 CFA francs.
Exactly.
Okay. So you came back to Gambia with the suitcase. What did you do with the suitcase?
I came back, I came to Dakar. I found somebody waiting for me at the Dakar airport. from a Gambian anyway.
Okay. So what happened?
That person told me, President said I should travel him that night, 3 o'clock, so that we cross by first train.
Sorry, could you repeat that? You said the person met you at the airport?
Yes, and told me that President said I should travel with him back to Banjul via land.
By land?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
I told the person no, because that was not the arrangement. I will not risk my life for nothing.
Okay, you can carry on, proceed.
Then the person said, okay. President said that is what he expected you. But he asked, he said, let us go and call him at that time, 1 a.m. to confirm. So I called and he said yes. I said, but this is not safe for me because any third party who knows.
Sorry, I'm having difficulty.
Yeah.
Mr. Juara, I do apologize. We seem to have difficulty understanding what you're saying. Now, you said the person, you said no, that was not the arrangement. You would not travel overland. I got that quite clearly. Now, when you said that, what happened?
The person said we called the president.
He called the president
to confirm whether he was the one who authorized that person to come and meet me.
Okay.
And travel overland.
Who called? Did you speak to the president or the person called the president?
Now, I spoke to the president.
Okay.
He confirmed.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Then what happened?
3 o'clock, we left Dakar for Gambia.
3 o'clock. You mean 3 a.m.?
3 a.m., yes, ma'am.
You traveled to the Gambia?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, tell us, Mr. Juara, we are listening. What happened when you came?
On arrival, I hand over the suitcase. That was it. At the end of my mission.
Who was the gentleman who met you at Dakar airport?
Gambia High Commissioner.
The Gambia High Commissioner in Senegal?
Yes, ma'am.
Who was the Gambia High Commissioner in Senegal at the time?
I couldn't remember, but I couldn't remember who was it at that time, because there were so many changes at that time.
But we are talking about July or August 1996. What month was it in 1996?
Oh, I think it may be Joguba.
Maybe in?
Joguba.
Joguba.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is it Njogu Sayerba we're talking about?
Yes.
All right, thank you. You were saying this visit happened before you went to Nigeria.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Was there any other visit with Samir Sar anywhere before the Nigeria crude oil visit?
No, I can't remember. I know that I went to Paris with him two times, maybe.
Sorry, repeat that.
I said I may have traveled with him to Paris twice.
We didn't get that.
No.
And I may have traveled with him twice to Paris.
Twice to Paris.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Okay, what was, you've told us about one of the trips. What was the
And
other?
the other one was about crude oil, the signing.
Or the other one was about the signing of the crude oil.
Yes, ma'am.
This was after your trip to Nigeria.
Yes, from Nigeria we proceeded to Paris.
Okay, tell us about your trip to Nigeria to sign the agreement on the crude oil. You had told us that the president had given you a power of attorney through his personal assistant or secretary, Mrs. Johnson, and you are required to travel with Samuel Sarr to Nigeria.
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel,
Yes.
just for context, can you tell us, please, what this CFA, this 60 million CFA was in relation to? Did it have anything to do with oil?
No, I don't think so.
What was it about? It certainly
I don't
wasn't
know.
free.
I was just to go and get it and bring it.
But you remember the amount? Are you
Of
sure
course.
about the 60 million?
That is what I said.
That is what it was.
I think so.
You remember, you think so, you're not sure? You remember the amount?
Yeah, I remember, but why I'm not sure. I didn't count it. It was in bundles.
So how did you know it was 60?
I was told.
By the person who handed it over to you.
Exactly.
Now, you don't know why you received it. You were given and asked to deliver. You were met in Dakar by someone that you were reluctant to travel with because you were afraid for your life. It was risky. And you do not remember the name of the High Commissioner at the time?
I gave a name.
Of the High Commissioner?
Yes, I said. I said it.
You think, you are not sure?
This is 20 years back, so I know that this one is should be in Yoruba.
Thank you. Counsel, you over
Right.
to you.
Mr. Juara, you were telling us about the trip to Nigeria with Samuel Sarr.
Yes.
Yes. You received the power of attorney and you were to travel with him to Nigeria. Were you told
Exactly.
what role he was going to play in Nigeria?
No.
But surely you must have had a discussion with him at some point. Did you know what role he was to play in Nigeria?
See, in this case, it's just like I was a messenger. But then those who negotiated this, I don't know them. And whether he was part of the initial negotiation, I don't know. So, but I was instructed to travel with him. After signing, proceed to Paris.
Okay. So tell us about the trip. So you did travel to Nigeria with him?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So where did you go to Nigeria? And with whom did you meet?
I don't know. I know that I went to Nigerian National Petroleum Company.
Okay.
Yeah, to deliver the power of attorney I had.
Okay.
Then what I couldn't remember was who was there at the time. I know Sarr must have been there, but on the part of Gambia government, I could only think maybe it would be the High Commissioner then. I'm not sure. Because sometimes he will send you, and if he doesn't tell you to involve any person, you cannot. Me, if I go to any country, before anything, I call the High Commissioner or the ambassador of that jurisdiction to inform the person that I am in his jurisdiction. That is my principle. Whether he's about my mission, but I have to tell the person that I'm in your jurisdiction. That's it.
So did you do that in this case?
Yes, I did.
Okay. When did you inform the ambassador that you were in his jurisdiction, or the High Commissioner that you were in his jurisdiction?
It's either before arriving or on arrival.
Who was the High Commissioner at the time?
Mabajahu Joe.
Did you go to the Nigerian Petroleum Corporation? Who was with you when you went there?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I cannot remember whether the High Commissioner was with me or not.
Okay, so what happened at the corporation?
Yeah, I delivered the power of attorney, and I think I signed something there. I couldn't remember whether I signed anything. Then from there, that was it. I proceed with Samuel Saad. That very night, I think, after meeting them, I proceeded with Samuel Saad to party.
Mr. Juara, Mr. Dominic Mendy,
yes,
has given evidence before this commission to say that he traveled with you and Samuel Sarr to Nigeria.
It's possible, but I wouldn't understand. If he traveled with me, how could he give a power of attorney then? That's what I don't understand.
What don't you understand?
If he traveled with me to Nigeria, then as the Minister of Trade, I don't see the relevance of this power of attorney. That's why.
Mr. Juara, well, it's for you to explain to us, but this power of attorney, which is dated 26 August 1996, authorizes you, it says, empower and authorize Mohammed B.S. Juara to sign the agreement relating to the lifting of oil by a business concern on behalf of the government of the Gambia, a business concern. Now, what you signed at the Nigerian Oil Corporation's offices, what was it that you signed?
I couldn't remember that. Definitely, who's there? Because here I am a little bit confused, because if I had traveled with Dominic Mendy, because before I left, I asked the president, why is it not Dominic Mendy to go and sign this contract? But he said the minister was busy. So I couldn't traveling with Dominic and Samuel Sarr. That one I cannot remember. I know I traveled with Samuel Sarr, but Dominic I cannot remember. Possible, but I cannot remember.
Mr. Juara, I'm sure, of course, you will agree that the Nigerian Oil Corporation could hardly be referred to as a business concern. Is it possible that there were two trips you made to Nigeria with Samuel Sarr? One in the company of Dominic Mendy to sign a contract with the Nigerian government, and the second one to accompany Samuel Sarr to Paris from Nigeria to sign another agreement.
I know I traveled with Dominic Kendi to Nigeria, but it was, I don't think it was for oil issue.
All right, let's move on. Where did you use the power of attorney?
In Nigeria.
Did you have you signed another agreement in Paris with a company called Chantries Commercial SA Panama? Do you remember?
Yes, I think his company's name is Glencoe.
Yes, this Glencoe is, Chantries is a subsidiary of Glencoe International. You remember signing that agreement?
Yeah, I remember signing that agreement, Glencoe, yes.
Did you have a power of attorney to sign that agreement with Glencoe?
I couldn't remember. I couldn't remember, but I was sent by the president, the then president, to go with Samuel Sarr.
Very well. Tell us what happened when you got to Paris with Samuel Sarr.
When I got to Paris, I was virtually in the hotel. Then Samuel Sarr was going up and down, meeting this gentleman, one David Ford, and they were negotiating on prices. So my role there was, if there is a price that is more agreeable, I should call the president and inform him that they said this is the market price today. So if he agrees, they go ahead and sell the oil. That was my role.
Yes, tell us what happened and how the agreement, you came to sign the agreement.
Well, I think they proposed a price, and that was agreeable to the president. He said, let them go ahead. So I think that's why I signed this thing.
What was the agreement for?
What was?
Okay, I have a copy of an agreement.
Yes.
Which has been sent to you, and I'm sure you have the copy over there, which is dated 23rd of August 1996, between Chantries Commercial,
yes, ma'am,
SA Panama, subsidiaries of Glencoe International AG, and it's signed.
Yes, ma'am.
It's signed Muhammad on behalf of the Republic of the Gambia by Muhammad B.S. Juara, Deputy Chief of Protocol, and on behalf of the company David P. Ford, Title Officer. This is the agreement you signed. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, Mr. Juara, this agreement refers to the contract between Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation and the Republic of the Gambia dated 2nd August 1996 for the supply of crude oil. Did you keep a copy of that agreement between Gambia government and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation?
No, I didn't. I don't think so.
Under the agreement between Gambia government and the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, how much crude oil was allocated to Gambia for lifting by Nigeria government?
Yeah, ma'am, that's where I will try to clarify, because for me, the president, as I said earlier, I was there to sign oil for President Jammeh's campaign that was given to him by Abacha. But government to government, what I knew then was that the Gambia was late that particular year to be given oil. So I think, I don't know whether there are two things that are mixed here. I'm not sure. Because I saw a document 1997 also here, 98, so which I don't know exactly how. I was not aware of this completely.
Let's talk about the agreement that you signed. If you were, yes, you were sent by the government. One would expect that you would have read the agreement before you signed. So can you explain to the Commission the terms, what you recollect of the terms of that agreement?
Well, as I said, I don't know, there was oil given to the president. I wouldn't say the Gambia government, because that was not what I was told. See, I was not part of the negotiation, initial negotiation. So I wouldn't know how many barrels was given to Gambia government. I don't know, sir, ma'am.
Mr. Juara, you signed this agreement, and even though it was not negotiated by you, as you said,
yes,
we expect that you read it before you signed it.
I expected also that, well, if I have a full memory, I was just to put my signature on the document, but it is something that has been agreed upon by the superiors.
Are you saying you did not read it before you signed it?
I may have read it, but I couldn't remember all now.
This agreement that is referred to in the agreement you signed with the Glencoe International subsidiary clearly refers to an agreement with the Republic of the Gambia and not the President Yahya Jammeh.
See, that's why when I saw this document, I said, well, there is an anomaly in the whole thing here. Because I know one thing, if it was
Could you stop for a moment? We are having technical challenges. Could you stop for a moment?
I would expect that would be the case.
Can we proceed? Can we proceed? Mine is dead.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Juara, you were saying we didn't catch what you said last.
I said, ma'am, if it was government to government, I would expect that people more senior than me would represent the Gambia government to go and sign this contract.
I'm sorry, I have to ask you to repeat that one more time.
I said, if it was government to government, then my thinking was there are officers most Mr. Juara to go and sign contract of in oil with government to government.
Well, it's you who is saying you signed the contract. Mr. Dominic Mendy said he signed the contract. So maybe you signed as a witness. We don't know, but when we see it, we will know. But in terms of the contents, that's my question. As to the contents of the agreement that you signed, how much oil was allocated to Gambia government according to that agreement? Do you remember?
No, I don't.
Let's look at the second page of that agreement. The agreement indicates that the company was going to pay 20 cents per barrel to Republic of the Gambia, up to a maximum of 7,300,000 barrels. 20 cents a barrel, up to a maximum of 7,300,000 barrels. That's clause 4. Clause 4 of the agreement, 4.1. 4.1. Do you see it?
Just a second, ma'am.
Mr. Jawara?
Yes, okay, ma'am. Oh.
Mr. Jawara?
Yeah.
Mr. Jawara?
Yes, I have seen clause 4, yeah.
Was that,
yes.
Was that negotiated in your presence?
No, it wasn't.
The agreement
no negotiation was done in my presence, ma'am.
Okay, no negotiation was done in your presence.
No.
You were in Paris with Mr. Samuel Sarr.
Exactly, ma'am.
And you were there to sign this agreement.
I was there to sign when they have a price that is agreeable to the president to sign.
So when did they inform you that you of a price to convey to the president?
I did convey that to the president. He gave me green light to go ahead.
When they were talking, where were you at the time? You were not with Mr. Samuel Sarr when the price was arrived at?
No, they were doing the negotiation. I was at my hotel.
In the agreement that you signed, the president was to receive a prepayment, which is an advance of $900,000. Under the agreement that you signed, the president was to receive an advance of $900,000. According to clause 4.2 of the agreement. Can you tell us anything about that?
No, I don't know anything about that, ma'am.
Now,
as I said in my, sorry, ma'am, as I said in my statement, whatever negotiation that was done, when I signed the agreement, when the president agreed on the price, that was almost the end of my role. The rest was taken over by Samuel Sarr. That's why I said maybe Samuel Sarr can shed more light on this issue than me. So I am I signed for president. Yes, agree to that. The rest.
Mr. Juara, the payments were to be made into a Swiss bank account with United Overseas Bank at 11 Quai de Berge, 1211 Geneva, Switzerland. I'm sure you noted that before you signed, that the money was to be paid into a Swiss bank account.
Yeah, but I don't know who owns that bank account.
Are you signatory to that bank account?
No.
Can you tell us what you know about this bank account?
I don't know anything about this bank account, ma'am, to be honest.
Did you know of transactions from this bank account?
No, ma'am.
What did Mr. Samuel Sarr tell you about the arrangement for the monies? Because I'm sure, as I said, you noted the bank account, and as you have admitted, what did he tell you about the arrangements about this money in relation to the document that you were signing?
As I said, ma'am, after the signing, I returned back home. And from there, I was asked to open a bank account in the Gambia, the president, which I did. And he asked me to send that bank account number to Samuel Sar in Paris, which I did.
Okay. Where did you open the bank account for the president?
BICI, then.
Can you repeat the name of the bank?
BICI.
Okay. The current mega bank.
I think that they are no longer in Gambia.
That's fine.
Yeah.
In whose name was the bank account open?
Agricultural Development Company.
Agricultural Development Company.
Yes, ma'am.
What is this company? Can you tell us about it?
President asked, I don't know with who, but I was part of the transaction to register a company for, he said it's for his farming activities.
For his family?
Farming.
For his farming?
Yes, ma'am.
Who are the shareholders of this company?
I don't know, to be honest, I don't know.
When you registered it, you said you were involved in the transaction. You know, when you register the company, you have to indicate the names of the shareholders.
I couldn't remember this. It was a long time, unless I see the document, but I couldn't remember, to be honest. This is 20 years ago. I cannot remember.
Yeah, but you remember the name, Agriculture Development Company?
Yes, I remember that one, because he gave me the name.
Was it a company or a business? Do you remember? What did you register?
I don't know what exactly I registered. I don't want to tell you something that is not true. Unless I see the
certainly,
document.
we don't want you to tell us something that is not true. Did anyone sign the documents that you prepared? Apart from yourself, did anyone sign the documents that you prepared?
I'm sure somebody would have signed. I'm sure. I don't know who. I couldn't remember.
Did you go to a lawyer to have these documents prepared?
I didn't go to any lawyer. No, I don't think so.
Where did you go to have the documents prepared for the registration of the company?
I think maybe Aegis Timbers. But this one, really, I cannot remember at all, because I'm not sure whether some of his family members were involved. I don't know. I don't remember.
So what was the purpose of this bank account that whose details you gave to Samuel Sar?
He said it was for his farming purpose.
He said the bank account was for his farming. Is that what you said?
Farming.
Farming.
Yes.
So why were you required to give the account details to Samuel Sar?
I don't know whether Samuel Sar was going to send money into that account, but I know that money was coming into that account. But which bank it is from, maybe we have to refer to the bank, the BICI, to refresh our memory.
How do you know money was coming into that bank account? How did you know money was coming into the bank account?
He told me to check after giving the number to Samuel Sar.
He told you to check?
Yes.
And did you check?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Could you tell us what you discovered when you checked?
Money was in the account.
How much money at the time?
I don't know, ma'am.
Was it in Dalasi or in another currency? The bank account that you opened?
I think it was that.
Darasi. Mr. Juara, to be able to check a bank account suggests that you have access to the bank account. Were you signatory to this bank account that was opened at BICI?
I think at a certain point I was.
You think at a certain point you?
I was.
Could you tell us about that? At what point did you become a signatory to the bank account?
Well, I think if he needs something from that account, he called me to draw a check. And mostly, I could remember now that he buy cars for the campaign.
Can you repeat?
Cars for campaign.
Sorry, could you repeat that? I didn't quite get that.
He bought vehicles for the campaign.
He bought vehicles to campaign with?
Yes, ma'am.
Apart from yourself, was anyone else a signatory to the account?
I suppose so. I don't think there is only one person who will be a signatory to the account. I couldn't remember who, but I think so.
Who else was signatory to the account?
I don't remember that. Unless the bank help us.
Where did you buy the cars from? Or where did he buy the cars from?
Thank you for that. Some from TK Motors, some from Nissan, Madis.
How many cars do you recollect?
No, I don't.
Okay. How did you know these cars were for the campaign?
That's what he told me.
When you bought these cars, to whom were they delivered?
To the president. Then the president, the former president.
Who else knew about this bank account at BICI?
Maybe the Kujabi family, I'm not sure.
Sorry,
I said maybe the Kujabi family.
Who?
His relatives.
The Kujabi family. Who in the Kujabi family?
I wouldn't know exactly.
Who are the Kujabi family?
You have many of them.
Yeah, tell us the ones you know and the ones you dealt with.
I didn't say I dealt with. I know that Kujabi family, you have Abla Kujabi, James Kujabi, and Sumana Kujabi. Those were his persons, I think, that time, according to him.
Those were the persons you?
No, I said those are his family relatives, according to him.
So why did you believe that the Kujabis knew about this bank account?
Because there was a problem one day, how I came to know. One day I was just passing somewhere and I heard my name. So maybe the person doesn't know who I was. Then they were talking about me, what I was building. Then I knew what was going on. Then I went back to the office. Before going to the I asked the bank to give me a printout from the day the account was opened to that particular day. After receiving that from the bank, I took the checkbook, I think. I went to the former head of state. I told him, sir, please, if you have time, when you go, look at this bank statement. and compare it with the checkbook. If you see any discrepancy or if you see anything that you didn't authorize, you tell me. Then he asked me, what is it, Batata? I said, no, please, sir, just do that. He said, okay. Then I left the bank statement with him and the checkbook. Later during the day, he called me in his office. He said, take them back. I said, no. Sir, you have never given me a single butu, a single dalasi. If your family members are talking about me, they don't know who I am, where I was before. I even joined the civil service. I'm a Sarahule. I was after money all my life. Right? Then he said, but what happened? I said, this is what happened. Your people think that what I am doing at my home is your money. So that's why I said, you take this now. I don't want to be involved in this because I don't want to have problem with anybody. I spent 14 years in Paris as an immigrant trying to get money. So you don't know my background. Then he said, okay, brother, calm down. I said, no, you have to take it back, and I'm very sorry. I am not disobeying you, but I don't want to have problem. So this is why that particular part of this past transaction, I put it behind me, and I don't want to know that time. Because it created a lot of problem for me until it ended up, because it has generated, it ended up, I have lose my, my career was destroyed for one reason or another. So I took everything back, I gave it to him. I said, I'm not going to touch it again. So, but make sure that you are satisfied with what has been withdrawn from the account is from your own instruction. That's why that part of this particular bank account. That's why I said at a given time, yes.
Mr. Juara, since you did have a printout of the bank statement done, how come you cannot remember how much money went into that bank account?
Then maybe I could remember. This was a long time now. I could not remember now exactly, but I knew that money was coming into the bank account. But I could not definitely give you a wrong figure.
Approximately how much money went into that bank account? You were a signatory, you opened it, you were a signatory, you printed out the statement.
The bank printed out the statement and I took it to him. But I don't know exactly.
Sorry. Was it a dollar account or a euro account?
Dalasi account.
Dalasi account. Thank you.
Yes.
What happened to the bank account after? When did you hand over, by the way, so that we at least have some idea about what period we are talking about? When did you hand back the bank's statement to him?
Definitely, I don't remember the dates.
Was it before, or was there an election during that period? Was it before or after that election? What election are we talking about here?
96.
96 election.
Yes.
Mr. Juara, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
You made reference to an election. What election are we talking about?
96 election.
96 election.
Yes, ma'am.
So when did you hand over after the election? The account after the election or before the election?
I think it should be after the election.
Going back to your career, Mr. Juara, you were Deputy Chief of Protocol at this time. Could you just remind us when did you leave that office of Deputy Chief of Protocol?
My service was terminated in 2007.
So you remained Deputy Chief of Protocol up to 2007?
Yes, ma'am.
You were not promoted during this period to Chief of Protocol?
No, I acted as Chief of Protocol at the given time when Maurikuru was sick.
What else did you handle for the President during this period? In terms of money or resources, movement of resources?
No, that's all.
In 2002, there was another agreement to lift oil from Nigeria.
I'm not aware of that.
You are not aware of that?
No, ma'am.
You were in the office of the President from 1996 to 2007?
No, at the given time, when things were going wrong, then I asked the Secretary General to transfer me. But then he said no, because he would not agree, the President would not agree. So what they did was, because I have been on one position over 7 years, so now they decided to promote me on grade 12 and send me as a governor of North Bank region from 2004 to 2006, I think.
And from 2006 to 7, when you were terminated?
2006, they brought me back for this AU summit. Then I went to the Foreign Ministry as Director of Protocol.
All right. I have no further questions for Mr. Batata on this.
Mr. Juara.
I'll apply it. Okay.
Sorry, Council.
No,
Mr.
go ahead,
Juara,
Mr.
on the help, you talked about President Abacha, ex-President Abacha, helping President Jammeh for his political career. While you were at the office of the President, were you aware of ex-President Jammeh doing a similar thing to other presidents, helping them in their political career? Sorry?
I'm not aware of it.
You are not aware?
I said I'm not aware of it.
Okay. Do you realize that when presidents do that, they do it by cash? And as far as we know, ex-President Abacha was more powerful than ex-President Jammeh and had more money. So if he really wanted to help President Jammeh, he could have given him cash directly. And he may have done that. Why do you think you needed a contract, an official power of attorney for political help and not cash directly?
Sir, as I said earlier, I was not part of that negotiation. Whatever happened, I was told that is what I repeated here today. But the rest, I don't know. This is between head of state and head of state.
When you accepted the power of attorney, you were acting on behalf of the government of the Gambia. It was in an official capacity. It wasn't for personal help between two heads of states. When you signed that document, you also did it in the name of the government of the Gambia.
Well, in one way, yes, as a civil servant, but in another way, the head of state told me what it was exactly, and that is what I repeated here. So that's why I said I don't know.
Mr. Juara, as far as you know, from your missions, and the errands you've run, do you believe ex-President Jammeh diverted any funds that were meant for Gambia for his personal use?
Sir,
I said, do you believe?
I wasn't that close to Mr. The President Jammeh to know that.
Yes or no?
No.
You didn't help in diverting any funds that were destined for Gambia for his use?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Just one question, Mr. Juara. When the power of attorney was given to you to sign the agreements on behalf of Gambia, did you ask yourself why you were the one chosen to sign these agreements when you have the Minister of Trade or whoever else?
If you look at my statement, and I said it in the statement because I was a junior officer compared to the permanent secretary. So I asked him why not the Minister of Trade. His response was the Minister of Trade was busy. That's what I wrote on my.
What did he say? Yeah. I think we missed the response. We didn't quite hear what you said. We heard in piecemeal.
I said I wrote in my statement, that's what I not the Minister of Trade to go and sign this agreement. His response was the Minister of Trade was busy then.
He was busy. Okay, so just to reiterate, you're saying that the response you got was that the Minister of Trade was busy. Is that right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
But then do you feel that it was appropriate for your duty as a Deputy Chief of Protocol to do that?
The reason why I ask, I know that it was not appropriate. There are senior officers more than me.
But even with the response, you still proceeded to do that?
I cannot say no. If you don't know that environment we work in.
I'm not getting it. Okay. Okay, thank you.
What about the appropriateness of carrying 60 million CFA francs in a briefcase and being asked not to fly but to travel overland at 3 in the morning so you can escape customs or any detection of Senegalese officials? Did that sound presidential? Or was it in line with official duties?
I'm sorry, sir, but I had no problem with going into Senegal with that amount of money. I have no problem with that because the person I was traveling with, he had his connection at the Senegalese airport with the customs. So I don't have a problem with that in Senegal. So, but my security was my concern.
I missed half the response. You're saying you could have declared and gone.
No, I said the person I was traveling with had his own connections. He made his arrangements on arrival. We were at the foot of the aircraft. So I had no problem with that.
But there was a reason for that. You were avoiding detection.
It's not me who was avoiding detection, but the person I was the host was Samuel Sarr.
I don't understand half the response. You were saying it was Samuel Sarr who arranged it that way?
Of course, Samuel Sarr arranged our reception on arrival.
You parted with him in Dakar. Between Dakar and Banjul,
yes.
It was your discretion how to travel. Why didn't you fly?
Because I was in a diplomatic car, so you don't like diplomatic cars.
Or you didn't have diplomatic cover?
I had a diplomatic cover because I was traveling with a high commissioner.
Yes, so why didn't you fly and declare it through customs?
The instruction, I think you missed the beginning, sir. When I arrived, I met somebody, the high commissioner waiting for me at the airport.
Please, sorry. Can you pause? Yeah. Can you adjust the volume? We can't hear him. Go ahead, please.
I said, when I arrived in Dakar, I met the high commissioner waiting for me. He told me that the president said I should travel with him by land from 3 o'clock and cross with the first ferry.
Now, that's precisely the point. Why do you think he asked you to do that? Because upon declaration, you wouldn't know the reason why you were given the suitcase or briefcase of money. If you had the reasons,
I cannot,
you would have declared them to the customs.
I don't know his.
Sorry?
Why were you given that money?
Mr. Juara, did you get me?
You said he has his reasons. I said I don't know those reasons.
Yeah, but those were precisely the reasons you should have given customs to be able to fly. You only drove because you didn't have those reasons. And you risked that money being seized.
I don't think so.
So why did you drive instead of flying? It wasn't just about following instructions. When the High Commissioner told you, when the High Commissioner told you to drive, you protested. You said no. You had to call to get clearance.
Yes.
Why did
because before I left, I paid my hotel for my return. So for me, on arrival in Dakar, I will go to my hotel until the following day. So, but when I met the High Commissioner at the airport, he told me what the President said. But not that alone. He said, President said, anyway, you call him when you arrive here. So I made that call. Then the President told me, yes, he instructed the High Commissioner to go and meet me. I said, I told him, sir, but there is a risk.
I've missed half of your answers. But my point here, Mr. Juara, if you flew from Niamey to Dakar with that amount of cash and you went through customs, it shouldn't be a problem to do the same thing between Dakar and Banjul. There was a reason why you were asked to travel by land. Can you tell us?
I don't know that reason.
You don't remember the reason?
I don't know the reason. I don't know the reason.
And we are telling you it's because probably you couldn't declare to customs why you had that amount of money. Was that money for the Gambia or for His Excellency, the former president?
Sir, the Commissioner.
Yes, please help us. We are trying to find answers.
One thing you should understand also, I was covered diplomatically. I had a diplomatic passport with me. So that covers me to avoid search.
It covered you from being searched?
Yes.
So there was nothing to be afraid of?
No.
Why did you then choose 6 hours over 30 minutes?
I didn't choose. I was asked to.
You were ordered. It was a directive.
Exactly.
And you didn't think the directive was because you were hiding something?
No.
Thank you. It was very normal. It was normal to choose driving over flying.
Well, it was not my choice.
Mr. Juara, just one last question from myself. We've heard, based on what you've mentioned to us today, you've given us a lot of evidence about some of the errands you carried out for ex-President Jammeh. Do you feel, in your opinion, did you aid and abet President Jammeh in some of these questionable activities that you did for him?
For me, I was serving my country.
You were serving? You were serving your country?
I was serving my country.
You said you were serving your country?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I, whilst the witness is testifying, applied to have admitted the statement which he emailed to us as an attachment. It's dated New York, 30th April 2018.
Statement by witness number 59, Muhammadu Batata S. Juara, dated 30th April 2018, sent from New York, Nigeria crude oil, admitted mark MS 205.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, just two questions. Mr. Juara, did you meet President Sani Abacha?
Yes, I did.
Did you meet President Sani Abacha? I didn't get your answer.
Yes, I did.
Could you tell us about it?
I met him with other Gambian officials, and also during the President's travel to Nigeria.
You are in the company of the President?
Yes, ma'am.
What mission was this?
I think it was a working visit.
Did the President send you on mission to Sani Abacha?
Yes, he did.
Okay, what was the mission?
The mission was to arrange for training of our plainclothes security.
Sorry, can you repeat it? We didn't quite get it.
For the training of close protection unit.
For the training of the?
Close protection.
Close connection. Protection.
Protection. No.
What is this close protection?
It's bodyguards.
Bodyguards for President Jammeh.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what happened? What was the outcome of your mission?
It was successful.
It was?
It was successful.
Did Sani Abacha send you back to the President with anything?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Juara, what other missions did you do for the President which required for you to land in the airport in a plane?
In a plane?
Yes.
Which plane?
Which required you to charter an aircraft. Let me put it that way.
I didn't charter any aircraft.
You didn't come in a chartered plane on any mission for the ex-president?
I came on board a flight from Abidjan with our Consul General, Mr. Ismaila Sibi, yes.
Mr. Ismaila?
Sibi.
Ismaila who? Ismaila Sidi.
CB.
Who is Ismaila Sidi?
He is the Gambia's honorary consul general in Abidjan.
Why were you on a chartered flight with him?
I don't know.
Where were you coming from?
From Abidjan.
What were you doing in Abidjan?
What I was doing in Abidjan?
You were living in Abidjan. When was this? When?
I don't know where I was coming from, but I came via Abidjan. I couldn't remember. But there was a flight with Via CB. We traveled together to the Gambia.
Mr. Juara, you were on mission for the president, were you not?
It could be because I remember going to Abidjan because the rebel, it has in connection with the former rebel Kukwe Sambasanya. We were told that he was in Abidjan.
Yes, tell us about it. You were told he was in Abidjan, so yes?
Yes, to get more information, that's it. I went with, I think somebody from the NIA.
To do what, precisely?
To get more information on security about the rebels.
You were Deputy Chief of Protocol at the time?
I think so.
Why? What qualified you to go on a mission like that? I just want to understand.
Diplomats are trained in so many ways. We not only train as a diplomat is trained in so many ways. Collection of information, gathering of information is part of our daily profession.
Mr. Juara, what were you carrying that necessitated the chartering of a plane from Abidjan?
No, I was not carrying anything. I didn't charter any flight. I was traveling with the honorary consul of the Gambia. He was coming to see the president.
Okay, what was he carrying that necessitated coming on a private flight?
I don't know. I don't know, ma'am.
Who was the NIA operative with whom you traveled?
I don't know. I don't remember. But it was it.
Well, I have no further questions for Mr. Batata today. We may be recalling him. Mr. Batata, when are you due back in the Gambia?
I have one more before you finish.
When are you coming back? You know you're on summons. You're on summons from this commission.
Yes.
So when are you coming back?
My return leg was expected in December, 9th of December.
9th of December.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, Mr. Juara, when you left, this commission had a mandate and it was limited in time. And you were required, someone said you were to make yourself available at any time.
Ma'am, I didn't know that. What I knew was I was summoned for the first time. I thought that was it. And I was have a limit. Can I be outside the country? That's why I came back without. If I knew that, yes,
sorry, we cannot.
then I would have.
We cannot, can you pause? We cannot understand anything you're saying. The line is breaking.
Yeah.
Yes, can you repeat what you said?
I said I didn't know that I would be recalled. If I had known, I would have informed you before my departure. The reasons why I should go back, I should come here. And I definitely that escaped me. I'm sorry about that.
Mr. Juara, in your statement,
Yes.
in your statement, you said ex-President Jammeh has been hunting you after he terminated your service. Could you share with this commission why he would be hunting you when you said clearly, and you are under oath, that you are serving your country? Do you also believe
Yes.
that by helping us in this inquiry, you are serving your country?
That is why I'm doing it.
And thank you for your presence. Could you tell us why he was hunting you?
Yeah, I really don't know exactly, but I know one thing, Mr. President Jammeh has so many ways of doing things. So people, he doesn't, or he's trying to talk about something that he. So I don't know. I was going away from him.
Okay, you were running away from him. He wasn't hunting you. Normally, somebody being hunted is somebody who has something valuable that the hunter requires. Do you have anything that the ex-president wants from you and has not been able to get?
Maybe something I said that he didn't like.
You were being hunted because of something you said,
Yes.
and he didn't manage to catch you with all his omnipresence in the country. Why didn't he catch you up till now? You were away from the country?
You see, now, if you look at it, that was the end. I did said it. I said, they asked me about crude oil, that I said I don't know anything about crude oil. Now, I told Marina, the then Director General of NIA, to tell him that I can betray a person but not my country.
Okay, you told him that you can betray a person but not your country.
Exactly.
So do you think you betrayed ex-President Jammeh in some covenant you had?
I don't know, that maybe
But
his
that
feeling.
is a loaded statement. You don't just say it. There was a reason you told Marina.
Because you know that my service was terminated. I was taken to court for almost 1 year for something I didn't do because they don't understand how the system works. I was director of protocol. Now the service and diplomatic passports are in our possession at the foreign ministry. That's one. Normally they are kept with the permanent secretary who has the key, who has the only access to it. And the remaining passports are kept at the Central Bank of the Gambia. Now the procedure to get a passport, if they say that we were giving passport to people who are not entitled, that was my language, but they don't know how it. You cannot get a passport and give it to somebody who was not entitled to.
Now, you didn't betray Gambia. From your experience and services to ex-President Jammeh, do you believe he didn't betray Gambia as well?
I didn't betray Gambia.
That was not my question. Do you believe ex-President Jammeh betrayed Gambia? Yes or no?
Of course he did.
Very well. Thank you very much, Mr. Juara.
Thank you, sir.